This dog was dumped at a high kill shelter, but when he realized he'd been adopted, he freaked out. Benny couldn't know how long he had waited for, but it may have felt like forever, and all around him, the other dogs he could hear barking would be taken away and never heard from again. Benny, however, remained exactly where he had been for weeks. Before Benny's visitor arrived, though, his time had been running out. And while the pit bull had ended up in an animal shelter, he would only be able to stay there for a limited period before, sadly, the end came. To be more precise, Benny was taken to the Carson Animal Care Center in Gardena, California, a so-called high kill shelter. Such facilities typically euthanize residents as well as those who aren't young or healthy enough to be adopted in order to prevent overcrowding. Whatever had happened to Benny, though, had made him shy and timid, something which may have put off potential new owners. Indeed, the unfortunate canine may have been overlooked by those who came to the shelter in favor of more outgoing and affectionate dogs. Then, on December 22, 2015, a video chronicling Benny's last moments in the shelter was posted to YouTube. The sweet but shy dog had no idea what the future had in store for him, the clip explains. Apparently, Benny had been staying at the shelter for weeks, waiting for a human to call his own. But, heartbreakingly, the video also revealed that the dog's time was quickly drawing to a close. If he wasn't rescued soon, he would likely be euthanized. All Benny could do was sit and wait for someone to come along and save him, the video goes on, which he did week after week with no success. And while we'll never know whether Benny realized what was about to happen, indeed, although he is seen keeping low at the person's approach, his tail is nevertheless wagging up a storm. In fact, Benny initially backs away from the human and retreats further into his room. He also seems somewhat apprehensive about putting his head through the red leash that is offered to him. Indeed, he eventually lets himself be leashed, and when the door to his room opens, nudges it with his nose. And it's there, on the other side, that Benny meets his new humans. His patience has paid off after all, it seems. Suddenly, Benny changes. He's no longer the timid dog that was crouching fearfully in his shelter room. In fact, in what may be the first time for a while, he appears to be happy. He can barely hold back his delight either. Benny's reaction is heart-melting, in fact, as he literally leaps for joy at his rescue, bouncing and dashing down the corridor to his new life. But despite his glee, the pit bull doesn't bypass the other dogs at the facility who are yet to be adopted. And the YouTube footage shows Benny passing his fellow canines' cages, looking in on them for one last time. Once he's out of the shelter's door, though, seemingly nothing can stop the delighted mutt in his excitement. He even ends up pulling his leash around one of his new owners, entangling her in the process. Benny's manic reaction is understandable, though, after all, things can hopefully only get better for him now, and the video itself shows just how much of a difference adoption can really make to an animal. Furthermore, given how touching the clip is, it's perhaps no surprise that it's gone viral, with over 10 million views to date. And the comments accompanying the upload have also shown that Benny's adoption hit people, as one user says, right in the feels. I still got teary-eyed watching Benny go to do the happy puppy dance, one person added in the comment section. I'm so happy for Benny, another wrote. I've watched this before, but it was like watching it for the first time all over again. My heart jumped for joy, just like Benny was doing, they concluded. However, for many people, Benny's video rescue is bittersweet. After all, while his adoption was undoubtedly a wonderful thing, there are still so many dogs waiting in the animal shelter for their forever homes. But all those other dogs were waiting for a home they may never get. They weren't the only poster who thought something similar either. Many of the other comments were along those lines too. Unfortunately, those words are a sobering reminder of the ultimate fate of animals in high kill shelters. In the same year as Benny's rescue, for instance, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, euthanized 72% of its shelters, cats, and dogs in the state of Virginia. We can only hope, then, that Benny's friends were also adopted into loving homes. And the pit bull's reaction also reinforces why it's a good idea to adopt a dog from a shelter rather than buying one. That way, many other animals can find their happy endings too.